look really familiar. I've seen you before, haven't I?
Barry.
Barry.
Barry Allen.
Right.
It's fun.
Sorry.
Some people are just meant to be in your life.
What am I going to do with you?
Well, I can think of a few things. Might need a stretch first, though. You told me the dead don't want anything. Either I'm willing to do whatever is necessary, or I shouldn't be up there.
Which is exactly why I can't be.
You can't kill murder. You can't get revenge on evil. You can only fight them where they live.
X-Men.
That's not an X-Men, that's Doctor Strange. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Fandom Zone. This is episode 82. I'm Karen.
And I'm Charles. Hello, everybody.
He's showing me a new Funko figure. It is Doctor Strange.
Yep, and it's the Benedict Cumberbatch Doctor Strange.
That's nice. I saw it. It was very good.
Yeah.
I saw it.
I couldn't resist that. I saw him over at Target. I was just like, score, gotta get that.
Nice.
Yeah.
I saw the movie in my house.
Did you enjoy the movie in your house?
I did.
They arranged a private screening for you, didn't they?
There.
That was those awesome people at Marvel Studios.
They sure did.
Well, that was nice of them.
That's how they did it.
All right. Well, I got to see it for the second time today.
Oh, very nice.
This time in the 3Ds.
Ooh.
Which
is it better in 3D?
It's actually this is one of the few movies that's actually justified in 3D.
Okay, cool.
Because
of that
the
build
swirly psychedelic effects and everything, it works out pretty good.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to go.
All those energy fields and little energy shields and stuff, they look really cool in 3D.
I couldn't wait. I really wanted to see it.
It's good, isn't it?
And we're gonna pay to see it. So.
Well, I would hope so.
Yeah, definitely we are.
Yeah.
And we're also gonna buy the DVD. We always get the DVD afterwards, anyway.
Good for you.
I felt okay.
Support those movies.
I felt okay swiping it beforehand.
It's just like a preview.
Right.
For the eventual payment.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. We're going to go see it in 3D. That's plenty of money they get from us.
Exactly.
So, all right.
Good for you. All right.
Thank you.
So, episode 882 of the Fandom Zone podcast.
For the week ending November 12th, 2016. And let me get my breath here.
Are you breathless?
No. I got to get my breath because I'm going to list all these. This week we're talking about The Walking Dead. Season 7, Episode 3, Supergirl, Season 2, Episode 5, Gotham, Season 3, Episode 8, Lucifer, Season 2, Episode 7, Arrow, Season 5, Episode 6, Legends of Tomorrow, Season 2, Episode 5, and Luke Cage, Season 1, Episode 6.
Nice. Very nice.
Thank you.
You did an excellent job. You only
had
had 7 this time, because we're down a couple shows thanks to Tuesday night's horror show.
Yes, let's not talk about that too much.
Or as we call it, American Horror Story.
Literally
American Horror Story. But we won't touch on that because we feel the nation needs to lighten up a little.
That's right.
Because we're
at
least today. So when you're listening to this, I'm sure some of you may be down, some of you may be up, but some of you may be down, and hopefully this will cheer you up a little.
That's right. We're gonna laugh.
We're gonna laugh some more.
A little for today.
Yes.
And then it's back to burying my head in a book later so that I don't have to think.
But we're going to listen to some wacky sound clips and really stupid comments from Charles and all that. So
Sweet Christmas.
Oh, yeah. Sweet Christmas.
So let's start with...
A little bit of magic from Doctor Strange.
Woo-hoo! Yeah, he was good in that. I am not one of those women that think he's super attractive.
Really?
Yeah, I'm really not, but I like him.
My wife, Lori, is one of those women who thinks he's super attractive.
Okay, I like him.
I started watching Sherlock before she did. And I'm like, this is a really great modern adaptation of Sherlock Holmes. Mm-hmm. So I got her to watch it, the first episode, and she's just like, Well, hello there, Mr. Cumberbatch.
Yeah, I think he's a really great actor and everything, but I don't know what it is that draws women to him.
His
And
voice and his eyes, apparently, according to
Okay.
Lori.
There was a sketch on this last week's SNL where he hosted, and
Yeah.
it was,
Beck
why
Ben-
do you guys find him
yeah,
attractive?
Beck Bennett was hosting.
Right. It was hilarious.
It was. It's like, what's the deal with why is Benedict Cumberbatch hot?
Right. And I thought to myself, you know what? Agreed. Tell me.
Well, I'll just talk to my wife. She'll tell
And
you.
they still didn't answer my question for me.
Well, remember at the end, Beck Bennett actually is like he's all flattered and he flips and he's like, "Well, thank you, Mr. Cumberbatch."
I mean, if that was the answer, if it was because he's flattery and he's got a nice voice and
Charming.
eyes, whatever,
Yeah.
then okay, fine. But I don't know him.
He
So
can win people over.
then
Apparently.
that doesn't help me.
He's charismatic.
Charismatic. Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
And he's tall, so I hate him already.
All right.
But yeah, no, I can't hate him. He's really cool. So,
I'm sure.
and he's
he is
Doctor
cool.
Strange. I can't hate him because he's Doctor Strange, and Doctor
Yeah.
Strange is awesome. So,
And apparently he got into it. He kind of liked it. So
yeah, apparently someone he didn't know anything about the book, from what I understand, and then somebody said you would make a great Doctor Strange, and then he's all like, Doctor Who, and he goes, well, that too.
yeah, but he looked into it. He learned about the character, and he said, "Okay, cool." So I like that instead of someone that goes into it and goes, "Well, I don't really like comic books, but I decided to take it for the money." You know,
Cumberbatch, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I think he's likable is he's not a snob about
Right.
this stuff.
right? And I'm not saying I don't like him. I do.
Because I mean, he was Smaug in Lord of the Rings.
right.
Or I mean, The Hobbit. Excuse me.
Right, I know what
So
you're talking
yeah, but
Whatever.
so he's not a snob about it,
No, I like him fine. I'm
and that's
just
cool.
like, see, what's very attractive of him.
See, personally, I think he would have made an awesome Sandman in Neil Gaiman, an
Agreed.
adaptation of Neil Gaiman's Sandman.
Agreed. I agree.
Because I think he is tall and imposing.
He's lanky,
he's got a thin, gaunt face with penetrating eyes.
hmm
So, which is kind of what the qualities you would want from Morpheus, I would think.
And you don't have to be classically attractive, definitely, to play
No.
Sandman. No. Charming, though, would be good.
But I just think he would be great as Morpheus. But that's me.
I think he would be, too.
All right. So let's get going.
Okay, Walking Dead 703, The Cell.
The Cell, written by Angela Kang, directed by Ulrich Riley.
All right.
Ulrich, not Baldrick. I keep thinking of Baldrick.
Ulrich. What a name.
I have a cunning plan. Sorry, I keep thinking of Blackadder.
Yeah. Those are people I don't recognize. Have they worked on the show before?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Maybe Angela Kang has written some scripts, but I don't remember saying the name Ulrich Riley before. So
Yeah, I don't remember you saying it either.
Ulrich.
Well, they certainly did a good job here.
Yeah.
A story. Who indeed? A critical analysis of television's Who's the Boss? Now, do you know where that comes from?
Well, obviously, Who's the Boss was featured in this episode
Right.
because apparently in the zombie apocalypse, the only thing that survived was Who's the Boss.
Yes, but do you know where that particular title comes
No, it didn't. Oh, where does it come from?
It comes from an episode of Community where Abed takes a course.
Nice. On Who's the Boss. Excellent.
And
Well played.
The whole thing in the class is trying to determine who's the boss. And so this title actually means who's the boss, as in Negan's trying to prove who's the boss.
Got it.
So
Well
it's
played.
double.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very nice.
As soon as I figured out that I wanted to do a who's the boss thing, I thought of Abed going to that class that Stephen Tobolowsky taught,
Very nice.
which was awesome. And of course, he breaks Stephen Tobolowsky completely by doing like a big chart. He teaches the class and he says, therefore, this, and this, and that means that the boss is, and Stephen Tobolowsky goes, Angela. because he's made his whole living off of this. No one can ever know exactly whose boss is in the relationship, and Abed has boiled it all
Down to the basics.
Angela
Yeah.
being the boss. completely.
Right.
Okay, B story, Agent Orange. Because we have an orange alert,
Yes.
and that is Dwight going out to take care of their orange alert.
Mm-hmm.
And the C story is involuntary.
You have Gordon there. I wasn't quite sure why you have Gordon beside that.
Gordon is the guy who goes out.
Oh, that guy. Okay, I'm sorry. I forgot.
That's why I put
forgot
his name there.
I
Because I remember Dwight's name, but I couldn't remember Gordon's name.
Right. Okay, got it.
Involuntary or mercenary confinement. I couldn't really decide on which one because it rhymes with solitary. So.
I would go involuntary because
Okay.
it sounds like solitary.
Right. So involuntary confinement would be that.
That would be my recommendation.
And that is not just Daryl.
Yep. Now, we're not going to play, that song again, are we?
What song?
The evil song that they played over and over. Easy Street.
No. Easy Street. No.
Yeah,
I
by
don't have
the
that.
Collapsible Hearts Club.
No, I don't have that song. And then they play a different song later on. I can't remember what it is.
Well, they played. It was a great moment, and I know we're kind of jumping ahead here because it's kind of toward the middle part of the end or whatever. But Dwight tries to make Daryl feel really horrible, so he slides in a picture of Glenn's bashed-in brains or bashed-in head, and he starts playing "Crying" by Roy Orbison.
Right, crying.
Which
Exactly.
I love Roy Orbison, so that was definitely an upgrade over Easy Street, let me tell you.
Right, but
But
not
it's-
so much for Daryl.
But yeah, he's just trying to and it's all your fault, Daryl.
It is kind of his fault.
It is kind of his fault.
So,
So-
who indeed? A critical analysis of television's Who's the Boss?
Okay,
And we got the professor. He holds up the book.
right.
I should have taken. Maybe I'll take a screenshot and put it on our Facebook page.
That would be great.
Okay, so this whole episode is pretty much Negan trying to assert that he's in charge.
Yeah.
The entire episode is all about the fact that he is in charge.
Well, and also he's trying to he's trying to break Daryl
Right,
and show him that he has a power over him.
right. And not just that, but he's also kind of indirectly, and I don't know whether he knows he's doing it, but he's reinforcing to Dwight that he's still in charge.
Mm-hmm.
Dwight is trying. He's
Dwight's kind of having concerns.
coming to terms with the fact that he's still there,
Yeah.
and he's not quite sure whether he's made all the right choices or not.
And this could be part of Negan's possible downfall is because he's so confident that he broke Dwight. It's like, look, I've got Dwight's woman. I burned half of his face, and he's still with me.
Right. And Tina's dead, and
Yep.
yeah,
So, and then now he's kind of getting a little bit arrogant. Well, it's Negan. He's obviously arrogant. Yeah, it's kind of a given.
Yeah.
But he thinks he can do the same to Daryl and turn him into one of his guys.
right. So if Dwight and Daryl band together at some point, dissent forms amongst the ranks, and that's part of Agent Orange. Is Gordon says to him, "There's a lot of us, and there's one of him."
Right.
And even if he killed Gordon in this one, which he did, and didn't listen, that seed is still there in his brain, planted. So
And there was a scene there toward the end where Dwight is watching Walker Gordon
mhm.
and kind of going, maybe this is not the best arrangement.
Right.
Maybe I need to think of a new plan.
Right. There's gonna come a time when I'm that.
So get ready for the heel turn here, if you watch wrestling.
Right. So yeah, this is pretty much just all Negan being Negan.
Yeah. And Jeffrey D. Morgan is awesome in this
Oh,
episode.
so amazing as Negan. I love when he had all his buddies outside, all his underlings, and he's talking to Dwight and Daryl, and he says to Daryl, you know, you could be like Dwight, who's one of my soldiers, or you can be like these guys who work for me for points.
Right.
You know, you can choose, or you can stay in that cell. And he talks to the guys, and he's like, "What's your name?" And they go, "Negan. Who are you? Negan. Who are you? Negan. Who are you? Negan." And then he turns to Daryl, and Daryl goes, "Nope."
Well, there was a while there you were kind of supposed to wonder about whether Daryl's broken.
Right.
But then, of course, he's Daryl, so he's going to say,
Right.
I'm Daryl.
I'm Daryl. Yeah. And he says, he almost hits him with Lucille. He comes right up close to hitting him with Lucille. He goes, "You're lucky Lucille's not hungry, but I am." And he walks off, and then he goes, "I'll leave you to them." And all his boys give him the beat down,
Right.
which leaves him in pretty bad shape back in the cell. And it ends up with him having a heart-to-heart with Negan a little later, where he has to have some refreshment through a straw.
That's true.
And he and Dwight and Daryl again have a chat about what his options are, and Daryl's still just not having it. And that after that is when he gets the picture slid underneath the cell, and he breaks down.
Which was obviously the point.
Right.
Yep.
Whether he's broken or not is another question, but he broke down.
Mm-hmm.
I think at that point he's justified in having a bit of a cry.
Right. Now, they tried to break him. They thought they started feeding him dog food sandwiches.
Right.
And just because they thought that, how horrible is this that he has to eat dog food? But Daryl, he's eaten much worse than that during the show.
Right.
We've seen it.
He doesn't care.
So he's just like, dog food, whatever, dude. Just bring in the Alpo. I'm ready. Give me a fork and a knife, and I'm ready to chow down.
You've noticed that he plays Easy Street every time he brings him the dog food.
Yeah,
so
to associate the unpleasantness.
Pavlov's dog thing for him. And I was like, that is not going to break him. It's not going to even faze him one bit. And it doesn't. He just sits there and takes it.
Yeah.
Now that he's not in a good place at the end of the episode at all.
No.
So there's that. And Negan is just power hungry. And I think that is going to be, like you said, his downfall.
Let's hope, anyway.
Him knowing how much power he has over people and being sure of it. After he breaks them, that's it. He's certain that they will stay broken. And that, they are horses that he's already put a saddle on, and they'll take to that saddle forever.
Exactly.
Well, people aren't horses.
No, and Sherry, you forgot to mention Sherry, that... okay, that's where you're coming up. Okay, all right. I'm sorry, I just jumped ahead.
It's all right.
Go ahead.
So Agent Orange is Gordon, who takes off with some supplies. And in this part of the storyline, Dwight is kind of getting fed up with doing what he's doing, and so he takes off. He's getting a little hinky, a little restless, and he decides he wants to take off and chase Gordon. And Negan says, "You don't have to take off. I can send one of the other guys." And Dwight goes, No, I'll do it. So he goes to get Gordon, and you can tell, and he's a douche, right? Because he's got Daryl's vest and
he's
Daryl's bike.
Yeah, basically, I think Dwight wants to be Daryl.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's got the bike, he's got the vest, he's got the crossbow. Mm-hmm. He's just like, he's like a Daryl fanboy without even realizing it.
He is. So he goes out and he goes to get Gordon, who
Mhm.
is this guy who has gone off on his own. And on the way, he runs into like this group of walkers, and one of them falls through a hole in a bridge onto him, and he gets kind of shaken up, but
Right.
he just barely escapes.
Yeah, it'd be raining zombies, yo.
It was weird. Why he stopped, I have no idea. Why didn't he just continue on?
Well, I thought there was like a pile of zombies on the road,
There
so
was.
he's kind of like looking around. I think,
Yeah.
like,
I'm
okay,
just wondering why.
what happened to all these zombies?
Oh, okay.
That's what I thought. That's what
And
I
they
got
were-
out of it.
They were falling through a place in the road above, which is what was happening. But
Right.
I was just thinking, why would you stop for?
Well,
a
he's
high
probably
jump?
he's probably just like, well, that's interesting. That's something you don't see every
Oh,
day.
okay. Ho hum.
Yeah. And
A
then
pile of zombies.
then like, oh, look out! Ah!
So he fought off that zombie, and he goes on further, and he finds Gordon along the road, and Gordon doesn't seem awfully surprised, but he says, "Okay, I'll come in if you want me to, but it's not going to be long before you're me,
And he begs to
And
be
you're-
killed.
right? You're going to want to go, or you could just shoot me in the face. I don't care, whatever." He's ambivalent. He's like, "I'm already living my nightmare. So either kill me or just let me go." And Dwight is just, again, a huge dick to this guy. And they get in kind of a fight, and it looks like he's going to leave him alone, and then he turns around and shoots him.
Right.
And again, they have this chat where Gordon's like, this could be you someday. If there's a bunch of us and only one of him, we could turn on him, but we don't do it. Why do we not do it? I was getting tired of it. I had to leave. And even though Dwight doesn't take it in hand yet, it's in his brain. So, of course they wouldn't put it on the screen if it wasn't going to happen sooner or later. So we know it's in his head. And again, Gordon later is outside, chained to one of those posts. And that is, I'm guessing that is his wall of death, so people don't get into his compound.
Well, yeah, it's essentially he set up walkers as like a fence that can bite back.
Barbed walkers,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
Yeah,
A barbed walker fence.
yeah. Well, he saved all the barbed wire for his bat, so
Of course.
so he's got to have something on that fence.
Yeah, he used it all up for Lucille, and he has to keep replacing it because it keeps getting all gummed up with brains and stuff. So,
Well, and hose it off, it's got to get rusty.
sure,
So,
gotta take care of it.
mhm.
Lucille is his only pal, his only true friend.
Is a bat.
Right.
Is a bat.
Right,
Yeah.
a vampire bat. She's a vampire bat.
Yeah.
You like blood. Oh, I got another impression. Negan.
There you go. Phil
okay,
Phil
so-
Parrish will be very thrilled about that. So that was for you, Phil.
And Justina also likes my impression. So the C story is involuntary confinement, and this isn't just Daryl. This is also Dwight and Sherry, where we get to see what happened to Dwight and Sherry and Tina in between their meetups in the woods. And what happened is they escaped Negan,
Mhm.
and then they apparently got caught again.
Don't.
So they escaped, then Tina died, and then they got caught again. And when they got caught again, Negan decided that Sherry was going to be kind of, I'm guessing, punishment. Right?
Well,
Even
yeah.
though it said it went down a certain way, I'm thinking that Dwight kind of took it as, that's my punishment for running away, that he took my wife away. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the intention I got about it.
Right.
And
Right.
that's also why he burned half of Dwight's face,
Right.
is because he figured, well, his wife's not going to want him after having half his face burned off.
Right. Yeah. And so that was an interesting story to hear, what had happened in between the two times Daryl ran across them in the woods, and how Sherry and he and Negan all kind of pieced together that story for us in this episode. And also that Dwight saw her with a pregnancy test,
Oh, yes.
and her saying it's negative to Dwight. And Dwight was like, yeah, I don't care. Dwight trying not to care about it. And we know, of course, that it's a pregnancy test about
Negan. Yeah.
not Dwight. So, yuck
Yeah.
is all I have to say. Although, me personally, if it wasn't Negan, round. Because Jeffrey Dean Morgan is a whole different story. But
What if he was the comedian? That would be
that
horrible.
would be okay.
You sure?
I'm okay with the comedian, yeah.
Because the comedian was pretty horrible character.
Still.
Okay, you're still down with it.
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
Sure.
Okay.
I like me a bad boy, but not bad boy with a bat that bashes in brains.
Okay, got it. That's yeah. Okay, good, fair.
You see my line?
I see your line of distinction.
Okay, thanks.
It's, now tell me about your mother. as we do psychoanalysis or analysis.
Yeah. So the involuntary confinement thing is that I just feel like everybody that lives there is confined in a prison of Negan's making, even if they're convincing themselves that they are in really great shape because of Negan.
Well, Negan's the alpha male. He's controlling everything, and it's all a big power game to him.
Right.
Everything is a power move.
Right. And they're all his troops. He's sending them out to get all his things.
Like, you live and you die at my wishes.
Yep.
Yeah, my whim. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, he'll do a little dirty work, like he did with Rick's group.
Mm-hmm.
And in doing so,
it keeps the troops in line.
That cements his alpha maleness.
Right.
And really, if they were given the choice, he won't kill you if you leave. Everyone would leave. Right? I mean, maybe a few, maybe 2% of the people would decide to stay with them because they're sadistic.
And then he's built up this big cult of personality.
Right. So
that they're all in for him.
How many people do you think would really just stay because they like Negan?
Yeah, not that many.
Right. This is what I'm saying.
But I think that he's instilled enough fear that everybody else is afraid to make a move.
Right.
So they're just like, okay, whatever you say, boss, as long as you're not trying to kill me, I'm cool.
Right. So the whole planting of the seed of there's a bunch of us and only one of him, I think that's going to be the flip at some point. And, yeah. Foreshadowing. Right. So that's pretty much it, unless I missed something.
No, I don't think you did. Nope.
Okay. So what did you give this episode?
I give this one 8 out of 10 dog food sandwiches.
Very nice.
And that's sandwich, not sandwich.
Sandwich. I see that.
Sandwiches.
You wrote sandwiches.
Sandwiches.
And I like this one a lot because of the character study. It's fascinating to me whenever they do character studies. And so I gave it 9 Polaroid pics.
Okay.
Which is grisly, but even still.
Well, it's kind of hard to get digital photos developed in the zombie apocalypse because computers. But
exactly, no power.
You can't just go down to the local supermarket and upload your flash drive and print off and be done with it.
Right. So it's a good thing you found a Polaroid camera with some film. Right?
See, and you thought that stuff was irrelevant. Nope.
That's true. All right, so we both liked it. I
Yep.
just liked
Yeah.
it a little bit more.
Yeah, I just think that because it was just such a confined episode that there wasn't a whole lot going on plot-wise in this episode.
Right.
I think, and I kind of hate the episodes that focus on just one character because I want to see what's going on with everybody else.
Everybody. Right.
I don't. I mean, character. Like Norman Reedus does a great job here, and that's no fault on him because he's super in this. But I want to like I like to see the ensemble cast.
Right.
I don't
What's
want to
going
see
on with Rick and Carol? And,
like or at least give me something else of what's going on while this is taking place.
right.
I like the contrast.
And I'm not a huge fan of the one story per episode thing. They've done this the whole season so far.
Yeah, and it kind
Rick
of seems like
Group
it kind
is
of almost seems
one,
like
and-
filler a little bit.
Right. So when are we going to see the here's what's going on here, here's what's going on here, here's
Yeah.
episodes?
Yeah, you're almost like, well, okay, I want to find out what's going on with Rick. Well, it's not this week. I guess I have to wait and hope for next week.
Right.
And if it doesn't happen next week, well, I guess I have to hope that it happens in the week after that.
Right. I also have to say that I posted the pictures for tomorrow night's episode.
Mhm.
We're recording this on Saturday.
Yes.
And what is his name? He plays the father, the
Rick?
preacher.
Father Gabriel?
That's
Seth Williams? No. I can't remember his name.
I can't either, but yes, Gabriel.
Gable? Oh, no,
Seth
no.
Gab- no,
No,
that's
somebody
back from
else.
Fringe.
That's what I just said Seth thing.
But
Okay.
Gabriel, yes, he took the picture of him that I tagged him in, which is awesome.
Mhm.
He liked it, and he also whatever it's called on Facebook
Oh, just
Reposted it.
reposting.
on his page, but he also had a caption contest
Oh, that's cool.
on his page, saying that it was from our page, and I put a caption from us on
Well,
this.
thank you, Father Gabriel.
That's right.
Apologies, we don't forgot your name, but
Yeah. It's Seth something.
yeah.
He was looking off into the distance kind of dreamily, and I put, I wonder if I left the iron on the bottom of it. So that was my caption.
That was nice. That's nice. Well,
So, you
so
might
cheers to
want
Father Gabriel for that.
That's right. Thank you so much.
And if you're here because of Father Gabriel, even better.
That's right.
So, cheers to you for
Mhm.
finding us.
Agreed.
All right.
Okay, so on to Supergirl.
Supergirl.
Season 2, Episode 5, Crossfire.
Written by Gabriel Lanis or Lanus?
I think it's Lannis.
Lannis and Anna Muskie Goldwyn, directed by Glenn Winter, who's directed a number of cool pilots and episodes for the
That's right.
DCCW universe,
He's one of the go-to guys.
the Berlanti-verse.
Berlanti-verse, yeah.
Yeah. So, what's our A, B, and C, Karen?
A story is Data Miner.
Minor-ing.
Yeah, the guy that was the Patsy.
Right.
His last name was Miner.
Yeah. Lame villain, by the
If
way.
you don't get it. Yeah, big time lame.
Lame. Yeah. Go ahead.
But
And-
he was the hand of Cadmus. So.
Right.
The B story is a plan full of win.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
the C story is about everybody pondering their place in the world. So I chose a quote that I like very much from Douglas Adams.
Yay! My favorite all-time author, by the way.
Oh, he's one of mine, too. And this quote is, I may not have gone where I intended to go, but I think I have ended up where I intended to be.
Excellent.
And I'm hoping that that happens with all the people who are pondering their place in the Supergirl universe. And that is not just one person in this episode. That is,
There are a lot of characters in flux
Yeah.
in this season of Supergirl.
and in this episode, it's very evident.
And Alex kind of has a big revelation, or at least, an acceptance of who she is.
Not an acceptance, though. Revelation. More
Well,
acceptance.
I think
She's
I think she's starting to come to terms
Yes.
with it.
I think
A beginning.
The fact that she can't say it.
Right, but she does But she does
realizes it.
realize this, and she actually acts on it.
Right.
As
To a
opposed,
point.
As opposed to just keeping it all to herself.
Agreed.
So she has kind of a breakthrough. Let's call it
Right.
that.
She understands that she is attracted to Maggie.
Right.
And the fact that she has never been comfortable with intimacy with a man, and the fact that she is attracted to Maggie puts that light bulb over her head.
Light bulb.
Right. And shows her that, oh, maybe I'm not heterosexual. And
Well, I mean, to be fair, she could be bisexual.
sure.
And they really probably could have addressed that.
Sure.
Maybe they will.
Yeah, who knows?
But
And
at the very least,
attractive.
I think she's kind of realizing that she's not the person she thought she was.
She doesn't fit in the mold
Maybe she was in denial.
that she has already put herself in.
Yeah.
She is breaking out of that mold.
So maybe now she'll start to become more comfortable with herself
Mm-hmm.
after this
Let's
breakthrough.
hope so.
Yeah.
We know she was attracted to Maxwell Lord last season, but
But there
sometimes
was
that's just like a magnetic sort of thing, too, so who knows. But I think she's truly attracted to Maggie, and I hope she really tries to go somewhere with her.
yeah.
I think that would be great, because they really have a chemistry together.
I think so. I know a lot of people were at first they were like, "Well, I don't see the whole Maglex thing,"
I do.
but I just kind of saw it right off the bat. But that's
Yeah,
me.
me too. The
But some-
banter and
I think some people are just in denial over it. They're
Yeah.
like, "I don't want this to happen."
I know. I see it though. I think they would be great together.
Right.
So I'm
But-
really
and-
excited to see where that goes.
Well, and kudos to the Supergirl creators for going this route because they could have easily not gone this route.
they could have. They didn't have to do anything at all.
Right.
And
And
I
maybe it
love-
would have been safer as far as,
yeah,
reaction from fans and whatnot. But, with the times we live in, we can't play it safe, people.
no, we can't. We have to show that it's okay
Yeah.
to do, and we have to show that it's acceptable, and
You got to push those boundaries.
that there has to be safe places.
Right.
Has to be.
Hmm.
And if television allows the world to be a safe place, then we have to do it.
And if this TV show gives someone else out there who may be going through similar issues hope, then as far as I'm concerned, that's totally worth it.
And you have to do it. I agree, 100%.
So cheers to that.
Yes. And
All right,
I love,
off the soapbox.
I love that they got the actress, I can't remember her name, that plays Maggie Sawyer. Do you know who she is?
I had it. I thought I had it. Maybe I don't. Okay, I don't. Sorry.
Okay. I can't remember her name. I think it's Luciana something. But,
Of the somethings family.
sorry. I'm very sorry. I am horrible with names. This is part of my medicine, you guys. I don't have good short-term memory. So if I only see her name every once in a while, I will not commit it to memory. But she is a really good actress, and they must have done tests with her with Kyler because they have amazing chemistry together
I
on
agree.
screen.
I totally agree.
And I love that they have that. So I give it a huge, hearty thumbs up. Now, I am moving on, but not very far because there are two other people on the show this week who are having a kind of difficult transition into what they want to be.
Hmm.
One of them doesn't really care, and the other one is very angsty. So who do you want to talk about first?
Well, I'm guessing one of them would have to be Mon-El.
Yes, Mon-El is the playboy who doesn't
Yes.
really care who he wants to be.
Well, part of this episode is that Kara is trying to get Mon-El to conform to the idea of a secret identity.
Right.
And it has to be a secret identity just like hers.
Right. With glasses.
Right. And the nerdy, like he's got the bow tie, rocking the bow ties because bow ties are cool.
Yeah, but they don't look good on him. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. No, everything else, I get.
Well, maybe if without the glasses, it would look cool.
No, the glasses are good.
I think it was the cardigan that ruined the bow tie.
Okay, maybe.
I'd say it's not the bow tie. I think it's the cardigan.
He was a little too buttoned up for me.
Well,
But
that's
the glasses,
Yeah.
thumbs up.
okay.
It's all I have to say. And the scruffy. Oh, I'm in. Right here.
But yeah, Mon-El is just like, this is stupid. Why do I have to do this?
Yeah. Yes.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt the cougering.
What was Mike? Is that what they named him, Mike?
Oh, what do they call him? I should have wrote that down.
I think it was Mike.
Yeah, it was Mike.
Yeah.
And something ended in M. It was like MM.
Yeah. Mike Marshall or Mike
Miller or something. I can't
Miller,
remember what
yeah.
it is. Yeah, something like that.
It would be funny if it was Mike Millar.
You mean Mark Millar?
Mark Millar. Well,
Yeah.
even Mike Millar would be funny.
Yeah, it would be.
So they gave him this identity, and she tried to put him to work at Catco. Hilarious.
Right.
Number one. Just for the gags alone of him, they gave him an ID with the social security number on it. He memorizes the number, and then when he gets to work, he tries to identify himself by that number, thinking that that's his
Identity.
right?
Yeah, right.
And he says, "So you made me memorize that number on that fake ID on purpose? You mean your real ID?" Oh, sorry. Right. And then he tells Jimmy, "I'm sorry, I ran out of bribery coffees,"
Nice.
which was funny. He says, "Why are those alarms going off?" And it's the phones. And she says, "That's the phones. You answer them and you say, 'Hello, this is Catco. How may I help you today?'" So when the phone rings at his desk, he just yells at the phone, "Hello, this is Catco. How may I help you today?"
Did anybody else have like a flashback to the movie Star Trek 4
Yes.
where, Scotty's going, "Hello,
Hello,
computer.
To
Hello,
the
computer.
mouse.
Hello, computer." Yeah.
And she says, "No, you have to pick up the talking to it." So just for those gags alone, and that
But to be fair though, Mon-El's going around. He's kind of like, he is being kind of a careless dick about it, and he doesn't care like if he's kind of like puts Kara's secret identity at risk
no, he doesn't give a crap.
because it's all about him.
Right, and that's all he knows.
Right.
To be fair, she hasn't really found out
Yeah.
what he's about.
Yeah.
So to put him in a situation like that, not knowing how he will react to it, it's kind of on her. Kind of.
Yeah. And
Right.
kind of like a really awkward moment where, Mon-El takes Miss Tessmacher into the copy room making copies.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Except for the whole Man of Steel, Woman of Kleenex thing, which, thank goodness, we got interrupted, or
Yeah.
Miss Tessmacher might have been splattered all over the copy room.
Well, he's from Daxam, so maybe there's some lead around or something. But,
Oh, yeah.
just saying. But
True. Oh, I've been saying kryptonite. And
no, he's lead
saying lead.
because it's Daxamite.
Right.
But
Yeah,
they've.
lead.
But I'm sure in this, because of the way they keep screwing up his name and everything, it's probably Kryptonite too. Right? Because his name's Largand, and he.
I know.
But anyway.
Yeah, and we're giving away something too that he
Right.
he
yeah.
doesn't have.
Well, maybe not.
Yes.
They might not even address it.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's a possible
technically,
spoiler. It's a possible
on
spoiler.
Daxam, they're immune to the effects of kryptonite, but not lead. It's the other way around.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Like, yeah,
But of course, Kara walks in on them having sex right on the copy machine.
right. Dumb. And there's a lot of things. He keeps loading her up with work because he doesn't want to do his own work. He keeps giving it to
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were going to say something about him loading Miss Tessmacher. And sorry, mine just drifted there for a
He
moment.
keeps passing all his work along to her. And
Sweet Christmas.
I love he shows up at the party later, at Lena's party, and he's wearing a nice new suit. And he says, "Well, thank you. Miss Tessmacher gave me her little plastic card." So he's used her credit card to buy his new suit.
Right.
Kara has to tell him off there as well. And she has a conversation with Alex about it, and Alex kind of gives her a lecture. Well, not everyone got to grow up and find out their place in the world like you did. Maybe you need to, have him find out who he is.
And that's a great point, because Kara, obviously was like she came to Earth as a like a 12-year-old or something,
Mm-hmm.
and then was raised for years on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Mon-El just shows up, and they kind of let him loose out into the world.
Right. And he's already a party guy,
Yeah, exactly.
so he's gonna default to party guy setting. He should be a party planner,
Right.
right? What did he do on Daxam, by the way? This is something I asked Jeff.
Well,
So-
the hint that the thing that I'm getting is that he's going to be revealed as one of the royal family.
Okay.
That he was saying that something happened to the royal family on
Mhm.
Daxam.
Okay.
But I think the revelation is that he's one of the royal family on Daxam.
Okay. And that was his bodyguard?
Yeah, it was.
So
Well,
it was the other
well,
way
he
around?
was. Yeah, exactly. It was. He was saying that he was a bodyguard for the royal family,
Right.
but he's not. My guess is he's actually part of the royal family.
Okay.
Like he
And
was.
that story was swapped around.
Yeah.
Okay. Because he told that story about the prince loading him into the thing, but it was really the other.
That's my guess.
Okay.
Because the prince. Remember there was accusations that the royal family were jerks.
Right. Which.
So
Hello.
So that's what I think they're heading for.
Okay.
That's my theory.
That makes sense, actually. It does.
We'll see if I'm right.
He's definitely broke.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that. And then the third person who's having a bit of a, and pardon my DC pun here, identity crisis.
Ooh, I see what you did there.
Such a great comic, by the way. If you haven't read it.
And unless you're Sue Dibney, or the
Blue Beetle. Right?
You mean the elongated man, or no. Blue Beetle died during Infinite Crisis.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah.
Because the prelude to Infinite Crisis.
Right.
Yeah, because Maxwell
Okay,
Lord
so-
shot him.
Identity.
Yeah, Identity Crisis is something totally different.
Yes, Sue Dibney.
The elongated man's wife.
Bad news.
Yeah. And Robin's dad, Tim Drake's dad, I should say.
That's right.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So
Because-
spoilers.
Someone found out who did it
Yeah.
and had to be eliminated. Anyway, I don't think.
What is this bizarre segue?
It's been.
What is this bizarre segue?
It's not a spoiler. It's been out for like 30 years, right?
Maybe not 30,
80s.
but it's
90s.
No, Identity Crisis. That was like 2000s.
Was it?
Yeah, that was
Okay.
Brad Meltzer wrote that.
Yeah.
So that was like
Okay.
2000 something.
So the other one who had an identity crisis
Yeah.
was James. Don't call me Jimmy Olsen. Don't call me the Guardian Olsen.
Not yet.
Until next week,
Yes.
where the episode title is actually The Guardian.
Dun dun dun. Yeah.
So he decides he doesn't want to be the sidekick anymore,
Which, granted, that's a good move for him.
right? So he's going to make Win his sidekick.
You're young. You could be the sidekick for a while. You could be my sidekick. You're the sidekick.
So he's going to be his man in the van,
Right.
as it were. And he gets to design another suit.
Yeah. Well, that was one thing that Mon-El wanted Win to design him a costume.
Oh, come on. He didn't really want him to design a costume.
No, but he was like
He was
saying,
flattering him.
yeah, he was blowing smoke
Get
up
him to
his.
go
Yeah,
outside.
exactly. And it worked
It did.
because Win is a pushover.
Right.
Yeah.
So Wynn was teased with that last week, and now finally he gets to make another suit. And it's not out of latex, thank goodness. We'll see that next week. It's an awesome looking outfit.
Yeah, I think James has been watching a little bit too much Daredevil, and goes out into the streets and like, I'm gonna go out and fight crime in my
In a
little
hoodie.
mask, in a hoodie mask or whatever. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he thinks he's
Well, he does rescue some people from a collapsing building.
Yeah, but still, he's not indestructible like Kara or Cal
Right.
Clark. You know,
He should be Elastic Lad, like in the comics.
let's not.
How awesome would that be, though?
I like him.
Or maybe Giant Turtle Olsen from the 50s. If you old school Superman fans know what I'm talking about. That's like a Silver Age reference.
Yeah, cheesy, corny comic reference. Oh man, that's like Star.
Or Porcupine Olsen. That happened too.
Yeah, a lot of things happened to Jimmy Olsen.
Yep.
A lot of really bad things happened, and he got teased a lot.
Yep.
Called a lot of bad things as well.
I'm still waiting for the episode of Supergirl where James dresses up as a woman like in the comics. But
Oh yes, that happened several times, didn't
yep,
it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Jimmy. Yep.
Yeah. Jane Olsen.
Jane Olsen. Yeah, something like that. The 50s were a really weird time in comics, okay,
They
kids?
were. They were.
Well, Weisinger era. Mort Weisinger era.
Right. Lots of one shots. So they didn't really have to explain themselves.
Yeah.
They didn't write themselves into corners. Because the next week it was all brand new. Right. It was just corny and done. And that was it.
I think the Superman creators were smoking something really interesting.
Of course they were.
Yep. They were having the reefer madness.
They invented a man who wore tights and jumped around on top of buildings with a cape.
Well, no, that was during the 30s, but
Enough said.
well,
No, they still invented things like that. Right?
you know,
Even those people in the 50s invented that.
yeah.
And then they decided, hey, how can we make them weirder?
Well, it started selling.
Sure.
People loved it because it was weird and like
Right.
so.
Psychedelic fun.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the 60s happened.
Yeah.
And
So
we got
this is pre-psychedelic, was what I'm talking
Doom
about.
Patrol.
I love Doom Patrol.
Me too. I have
So,
every
Yeah.
incarnation.
I love Grant Morrison's Doom Patrol. Currently reading the new Doom Patrol
Are you?
by
Is it-
Gerard Way.
Yeah. Oh, I like
And-
her.
Yep. So
Okay.
there you go.
So Jimmy decided he didn't want to be a sidekick. He wants to be something new. He is enlisting Wynn. And also, his dad's camera broke. And I think that was the last straw.
That according to James, it forced him to reevaluate his life.
Hmm.
And he's like, well, maybe I don't want to be doing this.
Right.
I
And
guess,
that-
I guess being in charge of Catco doesn't have quite the same thrill, does it?
No.
You-
He's not doing what he's supposed to be doing.
Or wants to do.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, of course, the main story, which isn't the main story at all, really, is that Cadmus Labs, what's her name? The doctor of Cadmus Labs.
Yeah, they haven't really named her.
Well, they have,
Well, sort of.
but
We kind of have an idea what her last name is now.
they've given us her first name now. I'm trying to figure out. Starts with an L.
Well,
Duh.
of course it does.
Yeah.
Is it like Lucinda or something?
Lucille.
Lucille? No, I don't think it would be Lucille, would it?
Okay, let's see.
But anyway, what we're talking about
So
is...
Cadmus. Oh, go ahead. I'll look it up.
Oh, no, I was just going to say that, there's... Cadmus is basically... They've decided they think they're anonymous. And they're going out and they're putting out these videos. Trolling the DEO, trolling anybody that's, so basically because they're anti-aliens.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess there's they want to repeal the Alien Amnesty Act.
Right. Lillian.
Lillian, that makes more sense.
Lillian.
Yeah, and at the end of the episode, that woman from Project Cadmus shows up to meet Lena Luthor.
Yep.
And after Supergirl leaves this meeting she has with Lena Luthor,
Mm-hmm.
and Lena's none too happy to see the woman who, guess what, turns out to be, dun dun dun, her mom.
Lillian Luthor.
Yep. So.
And we didn't have a name. She was just the doctor at Cadmus.
So we do have a Luthor Cadmus connection. Surprise to anyone.
Love you, dearest. Yeah, so there's that.
Yeah.
All right. That's it. So,
Okay.
what do we give the episode?
I give this one. I was not really happy about this episode. Monel was annoying the crap out of me in this episode. I love the stuff with Alex.
Yeah.
So it's not like I hated this episode, but Wynn was kind of getting on my nerves, and Jimmy was just being really selfish, I think.
Okay.
It's stupid, so it kind of frustrated me. I didn't like the villain. I mean, Minor, who cares?
Yeah.
It was kind of
He
a
was
bit.
just cool.
It was kind of I think I felt a lot of characters were doing a lot of uncharacteristically stupid things in this episode.
Gotcha.
Alex kind of frustrated me because I get that was part of her arc,
Mm-hmm.
but I just thought that there was the way she handled it could have been better, or it could have been done better.
Okay.
That's just my opinion.
Gotcha.
All right, so I gave it 7 photocopies of Miss Tessmacher's butt.
Miss Tessmacher!
Miss Tessmacher!
Very nice.
That will never get old.
No, never. I'm
And what about?
glad she's back. Kind
Yeah.
of.
I like Miss Tessmacher, but
Yeah.
if nothing else, just to say Miss Tessmacher.
Right. I give it 8 Forbidden Donuts, and I can forgive a lot because
But I'm thinking, really, Miss Tessmacher? Having sex
Chris-
with Monel in the copy room?
Chris Wood, I can forgive Chris Wood a lot because I could stare at him for an hour.
Even in the bow tie.
Sure.
Okay.
Even in the bow tie.
All right.
I liked Monel's storyline because I found it amusing, and I really do think it's a lesson in people needing to find their own place. I mean, I know they're kind of hitting us over the head with it, but I think it's an important thing.
Right. Well, as long as it's not, they focus on other things in addition,
Right.
and it's not just focusing on this and trying to beat you over the head with it over and over.
Right. And I'm sorry I said next week's episode is called The Guardian. It's not. It's called Changing.
Okay.
So apologies for that.
Okay. So
But
moving on.
To be The Guardian. Gotham Blood Rush.
Blood Rush, written by Sei Chun.
Oh,
Correct.
it's pronounced Z.
Z, is it pronounced Z? Apologies, I
It
didn't
says
know.
that on his bio.
All right, I didn't know if there was that TZ was. Tz. Okay.
It says that specifically on his bio, so you're okay mispronouncing it.
Okay.
Actually,
Apologies to Chun there, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Z-Chun.
Z Chun. Okay. And directed by Rob Bailey.
Excellent. All right. Now, you might sense a theme here in my titles. Let me know if you can't, if you don't get the theme, all right?
This might be a little tough to follow.
Right. Okay, so the A story is Face Off, and that's the plastic surgeon.
Okay.
Okay, you got that?
B story.
Okay. B story is Barnes and Penny's, and it's called Face Off.
Wait, what?
Right. And then the C story is Oswald and Isabella, and I named that one Face Off.
What?
Then Ed and Isabella,
Uh-huh.
and I called that Face Off. Okay?
Ah!
And Barbara and Lee, and that's also called Face Off. And then
Yeah.
James and Mario, and that's Face Off. So, seeing it all fit. Because the plastic surgeon takes faces off.
Face off everywhere. I keep waiting
And
for
then-
like Nicolas Cage to show up.
See, he takes the faces off.
Right.
And then the rest of them are actually like showdowns between two people facing off. So
Showdowns between two people, living like a fool.
loving both of you is breaking all the rules.
Very nice assist. Thank you.
Thank you. I hate that song.
Well, that's why I just throw it because
Between two
it's all kind of cheesy.
Yeah, it is. But I hope you like my.
Your singing is awesome.
It is?
Yes.
Oh, all right.
Everybody, write in and say how awesome Karen's singing is.
Oh, it's terrible.
Please.
It wasn't that good at the end there.
Please.
I'm sitting. I'm slow.
Compared to me, come on. You're like Adele compared to me.
Who sang that? Is that the chick
I
with
think
the really long hair?
I don't know. Is it like it's not Helen Reddy?
No, it's not.
It's not Helen Reddy. Oh well, don't worry about it. Let's not waste time worrying about it. Typey. I know what you're doing.
Mary McGregor.
I see what you did there. All right.
Anyway.
Okay. Would have lost that bet.
So the plastic surgeon. He's a guy who takes faces from unsuspecting people, kills them.
As you do.
As you do, and gives them to other people.
Right.
They're finding the bodies of these people,
Mm-hmm.
and they are trying to get to the bottom of it. And so that is the A story. But moving around that A story are all these other stories. They find that he goes through a middleman called the Toad, and the Toad
Yep.
leads them to Pennies. Polly Pennies is his name. And Barnes has a bit of a face-off with Polly Pennies.
Yeah.
And they interrogate him, Barnes and Bullock. And Bullock is getting all up in his face, and Barnes can't take it anymore, and he really brings the hammer down. And one of the parts I really love with Bullock saying, I thought I was supposed to be the bad cop.
Nice.
But Barnes is realizing that something is happening to him. So they scare it out of Pennies, and they get the name of the plastic surgeon.
Which turns out to be Dr. Simon.
Right, with a Y.
With a Y. Yeah. Simon.
Right. They get a lead on this guy, and they track him to a party that just so happens to be thrown by Lee
Yes.
and Mario Falcone.
It's apparently an engagement party.
Right. Which most of the people are not invited to, except for Barnes. Barnes is the only
Yep. And Stabby Babs makes an appearance.
one. Yeah, that's interesting, right? But
Yes.
that's coming later, Barbara and Lee.
All right, I won't touch it.
Yeah, it's all right. I just think that's funny. She crashes it, though.
Yes, she does.
So, Bullock and James show up in order to corner this.
And we should mention that James is officially back with the Force now.
Yes. He has accepted the job. Well, he did that at the end of last episode.
But now it's official.
Now
This is his first day and everything.
Right.
So yeah.
And also there was an awkward scene at the beginning of this episode where Lee talks to Mario
Mm-hmm.
about James going back to the Force. And she said, yes, I knew about it for a couple days. I'm sorry I didn't come to you sooner. And this kind of leads to Mario having a bit of distrust.
Well, I think this is why he has the engagement party. Because now he's trying to force her hand.
Right. And to say, we got to set a date.
Mm-hmm.
We got to do all these things. And it also forces a bit of a confrontation when James shows up at the party. So James and Bullock show up at the party to take in the plastic surgeon, who is nowhere to be found, oddly enough. Also, Barnes is there. So
I want to mention there was a great moment where like Bullock and Gordon show up at the party. They're just outside the door. And like Lee spots them or something, and Gordon's explaining, well, we're here because we have to arrest one of your guests.
Right.
And then
this is what Mario says about the doctor.
Yeah.
So
So Bullock goes inside. He's like, I'm gonna be, you know me. I'm the soul of discretion.
Right.
And then Waltz is
While
right in
you
the
guys
room.
talk, I'll go get the doctor.
Yeah.
I'll soul of discretion.
Yeah. And
I
I just loved Donald Logue's delivery in that.
It's so good.
As he just strolls right in, with his, paunch and his beard and hat and
Of course, he's
whatnot.
the soul of discretion.
Exactly.
He really fits right into the
Exactly.
And I like
looking all shabby.
what Mario says as well. You're going to have a hard time getting him out of the party because he's really a hit with the ladies. And I'm thinking, all right, sure he is a hit with the ladies.
Yeah.
When he sweeps them away and rips their faces off, sure.
Details.
Yeah. But he's nowhere to be found because Barnes has heard that this is the guy who has done stuff. And he has spirited him away before the cops can come and get him.
It's clobbering time.
That's right. And does he not look a little bit like he's changing into the thing?
That's what I'm kind of wondering, because he's all super strong now, and I'm just like, okay, all he has to do is just go all orange and rocky, and we're off to the races.
He already has kind of cracks in his face.
That's true,
He
you're
does
right.
that weird thing.
You're right.
And he throws the plastic surgeon out the window after he has a chat with him. And he's deader than the doornail, except for
Dun,
one
dun, dun.
little last breath that he takes as soon as James gets to him, and he goes, Barnes.
Ugh.
Right, exactly. So there's that.
There is another.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Okay.
So there's those things. Then we have, and we talked about the James and Mario thing, which is, James comes out, or Mario comes out of the party and faces off with James.
Yeah,
and
he takes him off to the side, into a side room or whatever, and then just lands one on him. Just totally cold cocks him.
Right.
And
he says, "You remember when you told me if I hurt her, you'd come after
yeah.
me?"
Well, Gordon's just like, out of respect for Lee, I'll give you that one.
Right. Right. And luckily he does, because...
Well, considering that he was going to, try to trick, the Mad Hatter into, not killing Lee by saying kill Lee, I guess he's kind of owed that punch.
He does owe that one, yeah. So they had a little face-off. Now, we also had inside the party, Barbara and Lee, where... I'm sorry. Stabby Babs looked amazing.
As she
and
always
Lee,
does.
Who Marina Baccarin is stunning, but in
That
this
dress,
episode, the dress and the hair, weird as F.
well, that dress was so ugly because it gave her it has these pointy triangles over her halter portion of the dress.
Right.
And then she had this big bouffant hairstyle, right out of the
It's
60s.
like Ursula's tail.
Yeah.
On the bottom.
I mean, it looks like a wig. It looks like someone slapped a wig on top of her.
Mm-hmm. It just looked weird.
And as far as I know, they did.
It looked very strange.
I think it was supposed to look all big and hairsprayed.
Right.
In the 60s, like they did,
like the mob wives.
Oh yeah, good
I'm
point.
thinking.
Good point. In the Godfather,
right.
part 2.
Right.
Yeah.
Because Mario.
Right.
And Falco and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Is she trying to fit in with them? Sort of.
So is Lee Talia Shire?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So there's that, but then Barbara shows up and she looks so put together comparatively. And one of the things I've been saying this season is Barbara is so stable in her craziness.
Right.
And she makes everyone else look so uncomfortable in their normalcy.
Yes. She is, Stabby Babs is secure in her insanity.
Right. She knows what she is.
She's totally at peace with herself by being a psychotic person.
Right. And she's just stable there.
Right.
She's good with it. And she doesn't act out on it anymore, except for she's just wacky.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, so she goes...
Well, she is very catty, I tried to kill you once or whatever, but...
Right. Yeah, but it's not like she's stabbing her or
But we're all good
throwing
here,
her off
right?
a building. Right. We're all good. Come on. We're girls. You know how jealousy goes.
Yep.
And she says, don't you miss it? Don't you miss the passion?
Right.
that-
And then
that
she's also trying to wind Lee up because she's saying, you know what kind of man Jim Gordon is. You know that kind of fire that's inside there, that darkness.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And one of the points I was making is that Lee is attracted to dangerous men. And that's what
Granted.
she saw in James, except for he was a policeman. So she had that safety, but also that undercurrent of danger. And so she goes for Mario, who is tied to the mob, but he has that respectability of being a doctor. So it's the same sort of feel.
Right, but riddle me this: why would the GCPD allow her to come back with having ties to the mob?
They wouldn't.
They would. No, a sane
It's Gotham.
police. I know, I understand that, but still,
So,
any sane
not that-
police department would not have her back having obvious ties to the mob.
right. Well, they had Ed working there.
That's true.
There's
point.
that.
Yeah.
Um,
But that was before he went crazy.
there was that thing which unsettled Lee, but that was kind of ended before all the other hubbub happened. And then we have Ed and Isabella who have a lovely morning the day after
Right.
another night of debauchery, we're assuming,
Oh yeah.
where she wakes up and she hasn't put in her contacts, but she has some backup glasses that look a little familiar, some horn-rimmed glasses.
Yes, and apparently it freaks Ed the hell out.
Right. And he has another mirror exchange, only this time not with himself.
No, it's old, Miss Kringle in
That's right.
in the mirror.
Who says, you're going to hurt her too. You didn't think you'd ever hurt me, but you did, so...
Yep.
Whoops.
It's just a matter of time.
That's right. TikTok. And he goes to see Oswald. Oswald says, "You're better off breaking up with her." He goes back and he says, I don't think I can break up with her. Oswald says, "I'll do it for you then." He
Right.
jumps at the chance. Oswald has his face off with her and says he wants to break up with you, and she says, "I don't think you know what he wants." Then
I'm not gonna let him go. I mean,
Right.
the Penguin pretty much writes out and threatens her.
Mhm.
Like, you stay away from him or something bad's gonna happen.
Right. And Ed and Oswald have another chat, and Oswald gives him the down low. And Ed shows up at her place, saying, "I know what went down, but I think it's for the best." And then she comes out looking exactly like
Kristen
Miss-
Kringle, yeah.
Exactly.
Deliberately.
Right.
And Ed is freaked out, and there's a really odd but fascinating exchange between the two.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, she confronts him, she moves in close,
Mm-hmm.
and she brings his hands up to her neck,
Right.
and they just
You
basically,
would never hurt me.
you would never hurt me.
Right.
So, and she kind of wants him to squeeze her a little bit at the throat,
Right.
and then all of a sudden,
Danger zone.
danger. I was waiting for the porn music in this one.
No, because this happens on Archer all the time with Shirlene.
Well, that's true, but
Cheryl.
yeah, but I was thinking because what happens next
You
is
got another one in you?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's because Cheryl/Carol is a kind of a turn on for that, but but then all of a sudden, like Ed looks at her, she looks at him, and they start kissing, and then Isabella's like, "You want me to take the glasses off?" And Ed's like, "No, keep them on.
Leave them on.
Leave them on."
And
Oh
there they
yeah,
go. That's right.
sweet Christmas.
Yep. And they decide to get together, stay together. However,
Yeah.
meanwhile, back at the ranch,
Meanwhile,
yeah,
Okay.
Oswald has different plans. He figures that Ed is not going to make a fist, so he has one of his goons.
hired
with a
goons.
wrench. Yep. He has tampered with her car, and at the end of the episode, she's
The-
driving, and the brakes have been.
The old broken brakes.
Yep. So we don't know exactly what has happened.
So
but-
yeah. Her brakes cut out, causing her to crash just as a train is crossing the tracks.
Yep.
But we don't see what happens. Exactly.
And I still don't know what's up with her, but
I would laugh if like she's perfectly okay. Like
I would
I jumped
too.
out of the car.
right.
I'm perfectly fine.
And she still has nefarious intentions.
Yes. I'm still thinking evil twins out for revenge on
Yeah,
Ed.
me too. Me too.
I think it's total soap
Plus,
opera.
we had the plastic surgeon with the face swapping thing.
Ooh, good point.
Mm-hmm. So,
Excellent point.
thank you.
Well spotted.
So even if it's just a cousin or something.
Right. So taking the face off of the dead corpse and put it. Ooh, that's really soap opera.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you give this episode?
I enjoyed this episode. This episode was nuts, and I I loved it for that.
Mm-hmm.
So 8.5 police badges left on the desk because there's a scene where, Barnes puts leaves his badge and gun on the desk after taking
To go to the
Simon into the precinct, and it's going to work him over. So
Right.
that's that.
Yeah, because he thinks it'll be a temptation to use it, but he doesn't need it.
Right.
Unfortunately. I give it 8 anesthetic cocktails not being served at Lee's party. That's what they use to track down Simon, are the anesthetic cocktail
Right.
thing. Okay, guys, we may decide to split this episode up, so we're going to take this opportunity to say, here's the end of part 1, and part 2 will come soon. You can listen to them back to back, or you can split them up at your leisure. So here's the end of part 1.
Part 2 next.